Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, we are from Group 2. We will continue the material about early approaches to second language acquisition part 2. Let me introduce our members. My name is Safira Maulidia Firdausi, and we have Ahmad Mufti Rahastio, Karina Safira, Novia Ayunidiana, and Wiranda Dwi Lestari. Interlanguage. Interlanguage was created by Larry Slinker in 1972. It refers to intermediate state of learner's language as it moves toward second language. Or in short, is a language that was created when first language learner who are not native speaker learn second language and creating new language structure. It can also be called a third language.
Next is characteristic of interlanguage. The first one is systematic. At any particular point or stage of development, the IL is governed by rules, which constitute the learner's internal grammar. Although different learners have different interlanguage, they all have their own rules within their variation. They may not align with the actual rules, but they are very systematic. I buy a new car, I sell it, I receive money. The rules are set in the predictable ways. And the second one is dynamic. The system of rules which learners have in their minds change frequently or is in a state of flux, resulting in a succession of interim grammars. Salinger views this change not a steady progression along continuum, but discontinuous progression. Okay, the third is variable. Although the IL is systematic, differences in context result in different patterns of language use, and the fourth is reduced system. Form and function. The characteristic of reduced form refers to the less complex grammatical structure, and they typically occur in an IL compared to the target language. The characteristic of reduced function refers to the smaller range of communicative needs typically served by an IL. And next, cognitive and developmental differences between IL in SLA and L1 acquisition by children. The first one is language transfer from L1 to L2. The second one is transfer of training or how the L2 is taught. The third, strategies of second language learning or how the learners approach the L2 materials and the tasks of L2 learning. The fourth, strategies of a second language communication or ways that learners try to communicate with others in the L2. The fifth, overgeneralization of the target language linguistic material in the which L2 rules that learners are applied to broadly. Overgeneralization includes some of interlingual or developmental errors which were easily illustrated in the previous section.
Hello, my name is Karina Safira, and I will be explain about the fossilizations and its impacts for the L2 learnings. So here's it. Unlike a L1 acquisition is the strong likelihood of fossilization for L2 learners, probability that they will cease IL development in some respect before they reach target language norms. In spite of continued L2 input and passage of time, this phenomenon relates to age of learning, with the older L2 learners more likely to fossilize than younger ones. However, also two factors of social identity and communicative need. Such those factors could give us the reasons about the core of discussions concerning the basic question of why some learners are more successful than others. The initial state and very early stage of L2 development in naturalistic settings often involve only isolated L2 words or memorized routines inserted in a L2 structural frame for some period of time. The naturalistic contexts in L2 learning have two types: unschooled and untutored. Unschooled in SLA is the process when L2 learners have gift or talent which they can learn L2 naturally. Untutored is the process when L2 learners didn't have any formal learning or training. Relative success can be defined in this approach as the level of IL development which before learning stops. The beginning and end of IL are defined respectively as whenever a learner first attempts to convey meaning in the L2 and whenever development permanently stops. However, the boundaries are not entirely clear.
As you can see in these slides, the three following examples of utterance from children who were just beginning to acquire English. Based on the examples, we know that they are still mixed between their first language and English as their second language. Interlanguage probably cannot properly be said to begin until there is some evidence of systematic change in grammar. The endpoint of interlanguage is difficult to identify because there is different times and circumstances on each learner as they acquire second language. And then the identification of fossilization in interlanguage development before reaching target language norms is even more controversial. There is also issue of the concept of target language, which as the goal of SLA, especially as it applies to English usage in parts of the world where English has been adopted as an auxiliary or official language but differs from any native variety in Great Britain or the USA. Native-like production is neither intent nor desired by many speakers. They assuming that should be the ultimate goal for all second language learners may be considered somewhat imperialistic. Morpheme order studies. One important question in the study of SLA, which the concept of interlanguage highlighted during the 1970s, is whether there is a natural order or universal sequence in the grammatical development of second language learners. So morpheme studies are refers to the series of studies that have investigated the acquisition order of grammatical morphemes by first language and second language learners. If present, a universal pattern could indicate existence of universal mechanism is necessary to acquire language. A series of studies established that second language learners follow a universal order in the acquisition of English second language morphemes. It's a view that remains dominant to this day. It is natural to expect first language to also influence the order of morpheme acquisition. If the same order of acquisition found in second language as in children's first language learning. So there is the additional implication that the acquisition process may be very much same for all language development. That's all from me, and the material will be continued by Wiranda Dwi Lestari.
Okay guys, before I explain the table, I want to explain what is inflection. Inflection adds one or more units of meaning to the base of a word to give it more specific meaning. This is how we code for plural nouns, past tense, and progressive aspect in English. Okay, now I will give you two examples. The first one is 3 cats. The noun cat has a plural meaning, so the word cat must be added as at the end of the word. And the second is I walked yesterday. The verb walk has a past meaning, so the word walk must be replaced with verb to, which is walk. Okay, now we have entered the table explanation. Although not identical, the order of morphemes acquisition reported was similar in L1 and L2. The order was virtually the same in English L2 whether children were L1 speakers of Spanish or Chinese. The existence of such a natural order strange claims for internally driven acquisition process, which Dulay and Bird label creative construction. They conclude that L2 learners are neither merely imitating what they hear nor necessarily transferring L1 structure to the new code, but creating a mental grammar which allows them to interpret and produce utterance they have not heard before. A claim was originally made that this advance of similar morphemes order supports an identity hypothesis or L1 L2 that process involved in L1 and L2 acquisition are the same. The strong form of this hypothesis was rejected largely because the basic question of what is being acquired in SLA was limited here to a list from isolated English morphemes, with no principal relation to other aspects of English or to other language, and also because of weakness in the result methodology. The concept of natural order remains open for understanding SLA, however, both from linguistic and from cognitive approaches. The morpheme acquisition studies were followed by research which indicated that there are also regular sequence in acquisition of some syntactic construction by both children and adults. These findings form part of the basis for continuing speculation that innate mechanism from language acquisition might not be limited to early childhood. Okay guys, that's all for our group. Thanks for watching and don't forget to comment. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.